Hey everyone, this is Tracy from We Craft at Home, and I just wanted to go through something very quickly with you. I was making myself a big card. It's the showstopper cards from Made to Surprise. I'll put a picture up in the corner for you so you know what I'm talking about. It meant I had to make my own envelope, and while I was doing it I was thinking, I'm sure there must be some of you that also get stuck with making your own envelope. So I'm just going to do a quick video and show you how easy it is when you need to make a bigger envelope to fit it onto the paper. So we are going to need a square and rounded rectangle. So the size that I need, I haven't got a photo of the actual card I made because I already sent it off without taking a photo, which is very unusual for me, but there you go. So the size of the card when it's closed down is actually 8.5 by 7, if I remember rightly, which is not a normal size at all. So if we take that first, so we want it because the card is 8.5 wide. I'm going to untick the maintain aspect ratio. We want the width to be 8.75. I'm adding on an extra inch. If you're doing a card that's got a lot of stuff sticking out, then add that to the measurement as well. So that is by 7.25 because we're adding the 1/4 inch again. So that's the kind of front of the envelope. For the triangle, I'm just going to do the width the same, so 8.75, and then we are going to make sure that they are centralized. Now this is where we do it differently. So I am fortunate to have paper that is A4 plus, and so I can cut out both of these if I join them together. If you only have normal A4 size paper, you're going to need to do these two bits separately. So I am just going to duplicate just so that I can show you the two different ways. So obviously the first way, we've got it aligned and we are just going to weld. And then we will grab the path tool and do our score line. And that is the front of the envelope. Now whatever size you're doing, you just make sure that the triangle is the same width as the width of the envelope here. That is the basic rule of thumb, I guess. So with this, if you need to do it separately, you're going to have to give one of them an extra tab on top. It doesn't matter which one you do, but one of them needs an extra tab. We're going to do it on the triangle actually, so I can show you how to get rid of these corners. Because obviously when you're adding it to the square, welding it, you get rid of these little bits here. We need a slim rectangle. Again, we need it the same width. And the height, you only need about an inch, I'd say. That's probably still too much. And what you're going to do is bring it down, make sure it's centralized, and you see these corners are right where the sort of fold is. So you want it there, and then you can weld, but then you know you've got to stick it into there. So again, you do another score line like that. I've just grouped that, and then you can see it will stick together there and you will get pretty much the same envelope. So that's how, if you've only got A4 paper, you can do it. So that's the front of the envelope anyway. The back is the same regardless. Actually, I do need that piece to do the back. So it's the same as the front, apart from we need to add an extra little bit, 3/4 of an inch each side and the bottom, so that we can stick it to the front. So that means we need to add 1.5 inches to the sides, which would make 10.25, and just 3/4 of an inch to the height, which is 8. And then what we're going to do, we're going to bring it up to my X and Y. You know how much I love my X and Y. First score line here has got to be at 3/4, so 0.75, like that. The next score line, what is this one on? Just to make sure I'm doing this right. 10.25, so 9.5 we want this one on. 9.5, and then a score line along the bottom, which would be at 7.25. So there we go, the score lines are now in the right place. Okay, so now we know where all the score lines are. We are just going to move them slightly so that they are in the position where they meet. They don't need to be crossed over. Then I am just going to sweep across. I'm going to hold shift and click on the main envelope, so we've only got them. Change them to their score lines and group them together so they're in the right place now. And now we are just going to have a little bit of fun with this. So the easiest way is going to be to get a triangle, sharp triangle this time. What we need to do is kind of make sure, if you put it on a 45-degree angle, it should be kind of in the middle. Put the point where the two score lines meet. I am just going to duplicate, so I've got another one, which we will do this side, and that has to be at 3. Actually, that looks all right like that. I'm happy with that. It doesn't have to be exact. So now we're going to grab all 3 and subtract. And now we've got our the little cut-offs that we needed. These are the wrong shapes. So what I'm going to do now, quickly, I'm going to grab this. No, actually, I will grab this. I'm going to add a point, choose that point and bring it to the score line. I'm using the arrows so that I don't move the line. It needs to be exactly where it is. So I'm using the arrows on my keyboard. And then I am going to grab this one using the arrows again and just moving it down a little bit. I'm going to use that and move it up a little bit because we want it that way. Okay, so there we go. We've got all our bits now in the right place. Obviously we need a wider triangle. I didn't do that right, so apologies for that. Now I'm just going to bring this down. This bit you don't have to necessarily do. Just going to send that to the back so that I can get to this. So if I flip this, I could do it so that there's a dip in this as well, but you need to make sure that it's not bigger than this one because you need space to tape. So I am going to bring this up, and this one is right where it needs to be, yeah, because that's the fold, so that's where it's going to come over the back, and you want enough space to be able to put your tape and make sure that it sticks down well. I was trying to grab it all then. I'm just going to make sure it's all centralized so that we can see it right. So you can see now we're going to have that much space. If I move this big one out of the way, I am just going to ungroup that because it won't let me use it with the score line. And all I'm going to do is grab that triangle and that box, and again subtract. Now I'm just going to move that out of the way. So now that's the back of the envelope and that's the front of the envelope. And you can see when you stick it down at the back, you've got that space for tape or glue or whatever you're going to use. And that is how you do an envelope. Mine is a particular size for the card that I've done, but the same rules apply. Just close your card and measure it. If you've got bits hanging off the edge, make sure you add that to the measurements, and then that is how you put it together. You might just need to use different sizes, but it is that simple. Like I said, I'm lucky enough to have A4 plus paper, so it fits on because it's only 1/2 inch wider, so it does fit on like that. If you haven't got that, then do like I showed you separately, and that will cut out on A4 paper. So I hope that helped, and I will speak to you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.